All right, we're here. Welcome to the TGC Tours World Cup of Design group stage results. Wow, that's a long name. Anyway, I am Crazy Canuck 1985. Joining me is Victory Lane Sports. How are you doing today, sir? I know you've had a bit of a tough day, but I know you're here and looking forward to these results. So
Absolutely. Yes, I am here. So, very much looking forward to this show and hanging out with all of my online friends who have been a very, very supportive community this week, and I could not appreciate it more. So, definitely just looking forward to some golf and some contest design talk and all that good stuff tonight. Yep.
awesome. So here is how it's going to work, everyone. What we're going to do is we are going to go through and we're going to start with the group winners for each group. So we're going to go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then we're going to go back and reveal the second place for each. So the judging was very, very close. In fact, we will tell you right now, out of the 8 groups, 5 of them needed to go to tiebreakers of some sort. So 5 of 8 groups needed to go into tiebreakers. So yeah, there's some very very interesting results, and yeah, we look forward to it. And I think we just maybe want to start out with maybe a little disclaimer. First of all, Eric and I had absolutely nothing to do with the judging. Okay, we will take the heat for whatever, but really, we're just going to shrug everything off. We had nothing to do with any of the judging, and if there is anyone that wants to go after judges for anything and personally attack them, they will not be allowed in any other contests. I don't think this group is going to be an issue, but we just need to point that out before we get started. Anything you want to say before we get started, Eric?
No, that about that about sums it up. Yeah, I think you did. I think you said it very well, and I agree with you. I don't think we're going to have really any major problems. But now that we're at the results time, we've got this, and then next weekend we'll reveal the results from the first 2 stages of the bracket here, and then the following week after that we'll reveal the quarterfinals and or whatever they call those semifinals and finals. And it is what it is. The judges have spoken. They have put in a ton of time, as any of these contests go, and so we're not going to throw darts at judges here. And I think everyone really that's uh, in the thread and stuff is on the same page with that now at this point. So, um, yeah, I'm like you said, I'm going to shrug it off a lot more now than I have. And if you've got a problem with it, you're welcome to PM me or Andre. But I'm not going to get in it with you publicly on the forums unless I really have to shame you at that point. So
There we
we'll
go.
go we'll go from there.
There we go.
But
So,
but
yeah.
no, you should all be commended. These courses were just phenomenal, and the judges had a ton of work to do. So kick us off, Andre. Let's go, man.
Uh,
I'm excited to start filling this bracket out.
Sounds good. One question: when will the feedback be released? That's very shortly after this show, I'm guessing, right? I think.
Yes. So what we're gonna do is that's a great question, and thank you for the pertinent question, Matt. Oh, I'm not sure I was supposed to say that. Our judging czar, who's done a phenomenal job of coordinating all of the judges. He's got all of the raw data in a file, which includes the scores and judges' comments. The commentaries from the judges will be available to any buddy that asks for them that was in the contest. And there also is public judging comments and results that will be posted in the group threads on the forum. So this evening, just to kind of throw it out there, Andre and I will give the results as it relates to the table scores, just like in World Cup. So if a course went 3-0 and 0, or 1-1 and 1, or 0-3 and 0, or whatever the case is, we'll give those results. We will not be giving judges' comments tonight, and we will not be giving actual rubric scores tonight. If you want that kind of data for your course, you need to we'll get that information to you, right?
Yeah.
But the threads then will have a bit more detailed information moving forward, and then even more detail will be available as you ask. So we'll get you all that information. But tonight, this show is about giving you the results, and Andre and I will capitulate about them. And I no longer care if you're mad at me for saying this course is gonna, I predict this course to beat this course or whatever. Too bad, so sad. I'll just say whatever I want to say.
I love it. And there's going to be plenty of feedback for you guys. The Google Doc with all the judging is, what, 60 pages long? Something like that? It's up there.
It's reached 60 pages.
Yeah, so plenty of feedback for you guys. So anyway, let's jump in. We're going to start with Group A. We've got Reebdug, Coupe de Ville 68, Beef, and BS Petty 24. We're going to reveal the winner. Let's hear it in chat. Predictions. Who's coming out of this group at first? Let's hear it. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Reeb, Coupe de Ville, Beef, BS Petty. Who's it going to be? We got a few. All right.
Now here's a course. I love it.
I love it.
Love it.
All right. Can we stop the suspense here and just get it going? All right. Coming out of Group A, number 1 is Bandit Ridge from Reebdug. Bandit Ridge finished a perfect 3-0 in the group stage. Go ahead, Eric. That's all I have.
Oh, you did wonderful on that.
Thank you.
And I was just sitting here like my heart is beating out of my chest, hoping that your graphics work. But you are a multimedia magician. Ooh,
I like alliteration. Well
so,
done.
Yeah. So Reebdug 3-0. I mean, personally, I've now played, I think all of the courses, or 99% of them at this point now, through just casual play and everything else. I loved this course. Strong group, Group A, but not really surprising to me that it went 3-0. So, good job.
All right, we are gonna put Reebdug in the bracket. Just making sure this works. I know, right?
Live update.
Live updates. Boom. Oh boy. I think
goodness.
my text is gonna be way too big. Let me change this.
I don't care.
Quickly.
It looks
nice. Good. All right.
Whatever you want to do. We'll update this graphic like.
Yeah, we'll make it look better. But there we go. Done. All right, so that's Group A winner. We're gonna move on to Group B. Predictions, everyone. We've got Rhino for Life, XL Jagman, Co-Ruler 2, Ericsson Stone. Which course is coming out of Group B? And spoiler here, Group B, the winner had only one win. One straight up win. And 2 ties. So who's it going to be, everyone? Who's coming out of Group B? This was a super tight group.
Yeah. So as Andre said, the winning table score was 2 points for being 1, 0, and 2. So tie being, worth a half a point.
We're doing that. We're doing that scoring. Oh, I thought we were doing like soccer scoring, like 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. But whatever, that's fine. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's not many points. Yeah, it's they had to finish with a 1-0 and 2 record. So coming out of Group B is Rhino for Life's course, Harrenhal. Again, finished 1-0 and 2.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, tough group. Very, very, very tough group here. Group B. Looking down through the scores as we'll get through, and we'll reveal. Obviously, the tension is now building for who the runners up are going to be in all of these. But this group just really all beat up on each other. So great job for Rhino for Life for being the top of all of that bloody mess there.
The bloody mess. All right, we're throwing him in here. Oh. There we go. All right, so Rhino for Life slots into that top spot in Group B. All right, so now we go on to what a lot of people predicted was going to be the Group of Death, and the Group C. However, I will tell you, the winner of this group came out of this Group of Death a perfect 3-0. So is it Ryan McConnell, Spartan for Night, Pithy Dr. G, or Matt F27? Let's hear those predictions. Who's it going to be? First place in Group C. Who do we got?
I'm loving this, Andre. I'm loving watching the chat because you're asking who they think it's going to be, and I just love that there's 60 people in here
Oh
giving
yeah,
answers. This
that's
is
good.
great,
This is
guys. This
good.
is awesome. And look at the responses. It's like all across the board.
I love it. I love it.
Pithy, Mad F, Spartan,
I think we got every name in there.
Ryan. Oh, of course. Great group.
All right, the 3-0 course is Mr. Madef Aristida Dunes Club. Perfect 3-0. Again, by Matt Fritsch, who's currently hosting, I think, every tournament on TGC Tours this week.
Yes.
Congrats.
And I'll just say that the judges' scores for this group, many of them were in long ago before they knew that this course was on tour so many times and things like that. So just in case anyone thinks that had anything to do with it, it definitely did not, because we had a 2-week window for all of these judges' scores. And also, I want to just throw out there the fact that even though we're working off the 2-week window in February here, some of these courses were published long before that in January. And the judging panel had already been selected. So many of these judges were playing courses well throughout the month of January. So just before anyone, not that anyone would, of course, wink, wink, nod, nod, but if anyone were to think that they're being creative by throwing that out there on the forums, this week's action for the Mad F tours had absolutely nothing to do with it, because this group's results were mostly decided way before that.
Yes, for sure. For sure. All right, we move over to Group D, which contains Adam Hill, Dr. I don't know how to say his name. You can read it. Arnie and Cyborg. I can't remember how to say his name. I always forget. Dr. Daxon. He's got.
It's just Dravo Loverbee.
What? All right,
It's
whatever.
Loverbee.
Loverbee? All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Group D winner finished 3-0. They were perfect 3-0. Let's hear it. Who's it going to be? We got Adam Hill. We got Daxon. Oh, I don't know who's going to be. Let's get in your predictions here.
Great courses in this group again.
We're hearing almost everyone, but here we go. Group D winner. It's the Kilborn Club. And Cyborg. 3-0. Go ahead, Eric. I got nothing else. I just say the results. You give all the. You give. I barely played half these courses. Here's a guy.
No, I've played them all at this point. I believe. I think there's one or two hanging out there, but I've all of the ones that are actually in part of the results tonight. I've played all of those. This one I'm actually excited about, not just for obvious reasons, but just take the personal crap out of it. I thought this course was really good from a routing perspective and everything else. So I was glad to see when I saw the judges' results today. Prior to this show, I was kind of glad to see that this course got its day in the sun, due to the fact that if you just look at the routing of this course, the way that it plays, I think it's a really, really solid golf course.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Okay, we're moving to Group E. Group E had Arctic Fury, Scampy, Warhawk 137, and Skinny Post. The winner of this group had to be decided by a tiebreaker. They've both finished 2-0-1. Who is your winner coming out of Group E? Let's hear predictions. What do we got? Group E? What do we have? Arctic, Skinny Post. Okay, interesting. Scampy. We're hearing all the names here.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. This group was so strong.
This was a strong group. Coming out of Group E in first, through a tiebreaker, is Arctic Fury with Ocean Perpetual Golf Club.
Yeah, and I'll just, I'll say this one maybe surprised me a little bit, and that has nothing to do with it being a bad golf course by any means. It certainly was not. It took me a few plays on this one so that I really and I think Andre, you and I think even talked about this on our playthrough,
Mhm.
is just that I think sometimes you have to strip away all of the very typical Arctic Fury stuff, the tall grasses, the beautiful plantings, the uh, just the environment, the housing, the different things that he can do just incredibly well.
Yeah.
Um, the you have to really look at the golf course, and I thought the golf course was very nice. However, I was a little surprised on that one.
Hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree. I thought that was going to be well, it still is a really tight group, as you'll see when, yeah, it's still a very tight group. But yeah, I felt kind of felt the same for sure.
And again, he didn't win outright; he won on a tiebreaker. So
He did win on a tiebreaker. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. All right, we move to Group F. We've got B Smooth 13, Joe Golfer G, D Dog, and Sam. The winner of this group finished a perfect 3-0. Thoughts, everyone? Predictions? Who we got coming out of Group F? Who do we have coming out of Group F? This is we'll talk about it later, but this was one of my big surprise groups, I would say. This was one of my big surprise groups. Coming out of Group F with a perfect 3-0 record is Paragon Golf and Country Club by Sam.
yes. This is a tough group. This one was very surprising to me. And again, not because Sam's a bad designer in any way. I just thought that this group would be extremely difficult due to the fact that you had such different courses. I mean, the four courses in this group could not have been more different from one another. And also, I feel like they lived in the extremes in a lot of what they did. So, as much as people are throwing out the other courses as well for who they predicted would win this group, um, I mean, I just think that the judges looked at Sam's and pulled it all together. He had everything pulled together in ways that just maybe, again, I'm not speaking for the judges. I'm saying they just liked his consistency and things he was doing that maybe weren't on the extremes like some of the others. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll look at all those notes and digest a lot of this later. But they had him beating the other three, 3-0.
Yep. Congrats, Sam.
Yep.
All right. We move to Group G. And the Group G winner finished with a record of 2-0-1. Predictions on who's the winner in Group G: we had Energizer, Roy TGC, D Dix Jr., and Pablo. Who's coming out of Group G, everyone? Group G, Group G, Group G. Pablo. Love Pablo's. Energizer. Pablo. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Our winner coming out of Group G is Energizer. Jason Fowler with Falcons Landing.
Beautiful course. There's not a lot of desert courses or step courses in this whole competition. I think a lot of people recognize that that's a pretty risky theme for a contest
Mm-hmm.
because you have to know how to plant. I mean, let's just cut right to the chase. You have to know how to plant desert and step, and it's boy, it's planted well. It's very clean, extremely fun, and it just presents very, very well. So, although that was a very strong group, I thought Falcons took a risk and it paid off.
Yep. I believe Energizers was the only step course in the competition. If I had been in, there had been 2 step courses, but I think Energizer was the only one. Which brings us to our final group. Group H, we've got Mayday, we've got Violin Guy, we've got Cullallen, and we have Driver T. The winner of this group finished a perfect 3-0-0. Who is it? Who we got coming out of Group H? You hear Mayday, Cullallen, Violin, pretty much everyone. Group H winner Violin Guy 69 with Old Henry Shipyard GC.
Beautiful, beautiful course. This group, I I could have taken a couple and into first place and been really happy with it. Um, I'm just gonna throw this out there that I played this one now a couple times, and I just feel like he nailed the details. Um, I just I just really do. I feel like he nailed the details. And that's not to say that the other ones in the group didn't, but I can't really find too many things that are out of place. A blade of grass anywhere on this course. So going 3-0 and 0, maybe surprising to some, but I, I'm I'm glad he's getting his day in the sun with this one.
Mm-hmm. This is one I haven't played yet, but I've heard very, very good things. All right, those are your winners. I mean, it's been interesting before. Now it's going to get real interesting. These second place, half of these second place groups were decided by tiebreakers. So a couple of these were very tough. We had a lot of ties. There were a lot of split decisions in this, and yeah, which means a lot had to be decided through tiebreakers.
Yeah, indeed. Most of the tiebreakers, I think we had the one happen for the first place tiebreaker, which was, what did we say, Group E. But the rest of the tiebreakers, to my knowledge,
We're all
let me
second
look at my
place.
sheet here.
Yeah.
Yes, they were all for second place. So, and that what that means to you guys is that there was a second and a third, and sometimes even a fourth place course that were all tied for second.
Yeah.
So,
What? Yeah. One
yeah.
group has a three-way tie for second, so get ready for that one. All right.
So I'd love to hear from the crowd, though, real quick, since everybody's engaged and typing so quickly. It's not going to take a lot of time. What do you guys think so far? Any shockers there in the first place spots that kind of threw you for a loop? I saw Coastal Royalty was commenting up here earlier that let me go back and find it here. I am following the chat the best that I can while I'm also trying to listen to Andre. He said Coastal Royalty said these results are absolutely crazy. Um, and I don't know if he's saying that in a good way or a bad way. He'll have to answer that for himself. But what's the overall kind of gauge of where we're at with things?
I think I correctly predicted maybe half of these first placers. Maybe. I think maybe less. Yeah, it's crazy. So
yeah, Mayo's a shocker. Ramparts is a shocker from the crowd here. Seven Vets tells a story from Sam.
Yeah, do we have
Mayo not winning?
Yeah,
shocker.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. Well,
some shockers. So some shockers in the crowd so far.
Well, I hope you're sitting down, guys, because we got some more shockers coming. Let's go back to Group A. So Reebdug gets in comfortably, which means the A2 position. There was a two-way tie for second place, both finishing at 1, 1, and 1, and needed a tiebreaker to decide it. So this course will go up against Rhino for Life in the round of 16. How are tiebreakers decided? Tiebreakers, we have our main judging czar, who is overseeing everything, and he is making final decisions on the tiebreakers. So
yeah, right. So in other words, it went to a third judge.
Yes.
Who didn't judge. It went to a third judge who didn't judge anything from that match prior.
Yes, exactly. There we go.
Yeah. Great question. But yeah, it went to the judging czars who didn't judge in that group prior to that.
Right. Yeah, because each matchup got two judges, so they needed a third judge to break tiebreakers. So that's how it worked. All right, who is coming out of Group A in second place? Our second place course is Kamari Cliffs from Ryan Petty.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this was one of the first courses out, and I think it had that wow factor. So I think a lot of people in the community felt like this one was going to go somewhere in this contest. It was a tough, kind of a tough draw because you knew that you were in a group with Reebdug, and as we see now, his being 3-0 and 0. and then you've got Dry Gulch and Hawthorne Vale there, and Hawthorne Vale was very, very close. So this one went to a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker went to uh, uh, Kama Uri, I think is how it's said. And so
Close enough.
those designers will certainly have to go to the judges' notes at some point to find out how that all broke down.
Yeah, and now a couple things like the group stage results, like the fact some guys came out 3-0 means absolutely nothing anymore, because in the round of 16 you're going to get 2 brand new judges that have not judged your course yet. So
Yes.
you're getting some new judges, which means results could be very different. Maybe a guy with 1 win might upset a guy that had 3 wins in the group stage. You never know. So just keep that in mind as we go through. So yeah, unfortunately, Beef, he was the second guy in the tiebreaker, whose course, from what I have heard, was very, very good. And we kind of knew going into Group A that one of these guys had an awesome course that wasn't going to get through. Unfortunately, it was Beef, and Coupe de Ville, he still put in a good effort for a rookie designer in this contest as well. So
I totally agree.
Congrats to those two for sure. Okay, we're going to Group B, and Group B I think was the tightest. I mean, because Harrenhal only won with 1 win. It finished 1-0-2. So we're going to Group B, which was also a tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker round was finished at 1-1-1. So it is between XJ Jagman, Co-Ruler, and Erickson Stone. Who do we have as our second placers in Group B?
I'm reading the chat here. I'm being quiet, but I'm reading the chat.
How do I got?
Andre's an awesome MC.
I'm working on it. We're hearing Dale. A lot of Dales. Okay.
A lot of votes for Dale.
A lot of Dale votes. All right. Let's see if they're right. Let's see if they're right. They are.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Connemara Bay moves through. Dale Berger moves on to the round of 16.
Yes, and boy, I don't know how you do it if you're a judge in this group, because 4 really tight courses, like Andre already said, 1-0-2 was Harrenhal who won it, and then from there it's just incredibly tight, and that just means that they're just beating up on each other throughout the whole group stage. But Connemara is a worthy runner-up and worthy to go on to this knockout stage. What's interesting to me, and we'll get into this after this bracket is filled out, but great sculpting and great playability on the Connemara course, and now he finds himself up against another great sculptor and playability course. So I look forward to that match.
Yeah, the Reebdo Co-Ruler court. That should be an interesting one for sure. And XJ Jagman, I believe he was the other tiebreaker there. He just fell short, and Erickson Stone was right behind too. I mean, this I think was the tightest group points-wise. There were more split decisions in this group than any other group. So this one was extremely close. Congrats to everyone in that group, and congrats to Rhino for Life and Co-Ruler for moving out of Group B. All right. Group C. Here we go. Group C.
I love it that Andre and I just get to sit back and laugh.
Oh, I love it. I love watching the
suspense.
suspense.
The whole sheet in front of us now.
Oh, it's great. Here's an interesting statistic. The person moving out of Group C did not win 1. They have a record of 0-1-2. And they move in. They move out. Was this the This was the 3-way tiebreaker, wasn't it?
Yes.
This was the 3. So so Matt finished 3-0-0, and the other 3 courses finished 0-1-2. So there was a 3-way tie for second place.
Yeah.
So that is between Ryan J. McConnell, Pithy Dr. G, and Spartan for Night. It was a three-way tie. Who is coming out of Group
And
C?
wasn't this the group that a lot of people thought would be one of the groups of death, right? I mean, so here again, you have and maybe we should explain this. I mean, maybe people don't realize that um, there were two judges assigned to every matchup.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can explain this correctly. So in other words, a course has a result that has three uh three associated results with it, whether that's 3-0-0 or 0-1-2, as we're talking about here. But that course has actually been looked at 6 times,
Hmm.
because in order to get a win, that means the two judges that looked at the matchup of, let's say, Aristida to one of the other ones, both agreed that Aristida would win, and therefore it got credited with a win. If they both agreed that a course would have lost, it got credited with a loss. If the two judges were judging that matchup, and one said one thing and one said the other thing, that's how you got a tie.
Right.
So that's, these courses have been looked at by a lot of judges. This isn't just 3 people to get the 1 and 2. It's actually 6 people. Does that make sense? I hope everyone.
Hmm.
So, and that's why this this group of death is this way. It's so close because even your judges are conflicted
Yeah.
about all of this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
G Dog, yeah. Who is it?
Ah, whatever. All right. So yeah. Anyway, this group also was stressful for us because we had a couple judges getting results late. This result didn't come in until what, 15 minutes before we came on. So this was close for us too. All right. Enough waiting. Here's your Group C second place. It's Shelter Island by Dan Griffith, the newest person coming to Whistler on the Whistler trip. Yes, have to throw that in there.
Wow,
All right.
that's awesome. And yeah, if anyone else wants to go on the Whistler trip, make sure you check it out. It's a great group going to that. I'm hoping to get out there too. So yes, Shelter Island. Wow. I don't want to gush over this course, but this is one of my favorites in the entire contest. And so the prospect, of maybe this one not getting through also kind of was like, wow. I mean, it could happen because Ramparts and Hanging Lakes were incredible courses as well. And that's just how the draw happened to work 2 weeks ago, that pitted these 4 courses against each other in the same group, that two great courses were going to go home.
Yeah, that was a very tough one. And yeah, the three-way tie. And yeah, this was always tough to see two awesome courses, Ryan's course and Spartan for Knight's course. Two, I mean, if they were put into other groups, may have come out of the group pretty easily, but just that group of death and Group C just made it really tough. So, two great courses getting out, and two great courses, unfortunately, not moving on.
And I think it's worth saying that, and this is where it gets a little gushy and sentimental, but it's worth saying that Ryan McConnell and Taylor Knight, you're talking about two guys that are relatively new as far as courses submitted to the database and courses being designed. And look at how close this was, going up against guys like Pithy and Matt. You guys are right there, and so that just shows how strong this design community is getting.
Mm-hmm. All right, Group D. Group D, second place out of Group D, finished with a record of 2-1. There was actually no tiebreaker for this one, shockingly. This one finished all alone in second. So who's it going to be? Who's coming out of Group D? We've got either Adam Hill, Arnie, or the guy whose name I can't say.
We could say Daxon.
I'm going to say Daxon, and yeah.
Easier to say that than his username.
That's much easier to say. Yeah, I mean, it certainly would be annoying if I have to type his name in the bracket. Ah, crap, I do. Okay, good job. Whisperwood makes it through.
This one shocked me, and I don't mean shocked from a result. I'm shocked when Daxon published this, because this is his first course. So once again, I don't know if it's because the design community is becoming, so ripe with knowledge and sharing with each other and just talking out different things and streaming. And you've got guys like Andre doing tutorials and others. Now Matt Fritsch doing his show. I mean, there's a lot of information out there for people who want to get into the design community. And so you're looking at a guy who, here's a guy who's been a great player in this game for a long time, and now he's making a name for himself as a designer. It reminds me of a contest just a few contests ago, a guy by the name of Scott Fulton, who everybody knows as Hippie Stein, who's a great player in this game, also did very well in the Survivor contest. So you're seeing this crossover, which I think is really fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's awesome to see in a contest such as big as this, someone who built their first course as a contest or in a first course ever make it through. So congrats. As well, Adam Hill had an awesome course with Sandy Knee. And Arnie, who had, he put in a good effort, but his was, it was definitely a brand new rookie designer kind of course. But, he might have been a little bit in over his head here, but still awesome that he finished it up and put out his first course. So I'm sure he's going to get a lot of feedback that I think will help him as he goes through. So
Yeah, I genuinely hope so. I think a newer, possibly even a newer person in the community. I don't know Arnie yet, so it's a name I don't necessarily recognize, and I just hope that he takes getting into what was the Invicta when he entered, and now the World Cup. Um, that he takes it with a grain of salt and says, you know what, that was really fun, but I can see where the level of competition is. I want to go fight my way into more technique and more stuff in the future. And I just hope he sticks around. I really
yeah,
do.
yeah. And as we're halfway through filling the brackets out, let's take a look at these first four matchups. We got Reeb Duke versus Co-Ruler, Matt F versus Daxon, Rhino for Life against BS Petty, and Cyborg versus Pithy Doctor. So those are four. I mean, those aren't. Yeah, all four of those could go either way for me. But
It's getting
yeah.
ugly now.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's
if these groups weren't hard enough, now it's getting ugly.
yeah. Oh, for sure. All right, we move on to Group E. So in Group E, Arctic Fury got through. He finished first on a tiebreaker, which means the second place had a matching record with Arctic Fury of 2-0 and 1. So who is coming out of Group E? It's either going to be Scampy, Warhawk, or Skinny Post. Who's coming out? We're hearing I see all three names.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. 3 great courses.
Absolutely. All right, coming out of Group F is
Group E. You mean?
Crap.
Right.
Oops, you didn't see that. I pressed the wrong button, and I've already spoiled the next one. Sorry, Scampy comes out with Tempest Strand. Damn it.
That's all right.
That's okay. They didn't see that.
Course, yeah, no, I don't know what anyone was talking about.
Yeah.
Boy, am I glad to. And again, this isn't favoritism or anything like that. It's just one of those things where I got into this game and watched. I said this on the other show. I watched Seth Campion's tutorials and watched Andre's tutorials, and just Seth's one of those guys that I've been following a long time, and I just felt like he's so safe with his designs. And that doesn't mean they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good. They're smooth and they're playable and they're fun and they're clean, but they're safe all the time. And this time he enters a contest, and I think I even made the comment about like he's in it to win it because it's a different Scampy course.
Yep.
And it's really good.
Yep.
So congrats, Seth. I'm really stoked for you. And Blue Gums maybe was my shocker there because I mean, gosh, there's some holes on that course that will blow you away.
Yeah, that course needed another few days, and it would have, I think, been up there. In my opinion, yeah.
I said to Andre off stream, and I'm kind of throwing myself out there. So Scott, Mr. Skinny Post, if I'm just completely wrong on this, feel free to throw me under the bus. But I know he had some travel at the end of the publishing window, and so I think he's possibly going to kind of look back on this and learn an important lesson as far as budgeting his time and stuff. Because I think he's one of the greatest planners of his plot that I've maybe ever seen with his diagramming and his topographical maps and everything that he does. But at the same time, you have a publishing window, and you're running up against it. And then he had to go on that trip, and he even admitted, like, I can't finish the whole planting and the whole course. And so maybe next time that plays out differently. But great course.
Yep, for sure. All right, we move on to Group F. Group F second place finisher finished at 2-1. Did not need a tiebreaker to get through. I've spoiled this one already. I'm sorry. So we'll just go through it. It is Greenbrier CC East by Joe Golfer G. That will get through in Group F.
Yeah, and so now we've got maybe. I mean, I was wrong in my pre-group predictions. If you go back 2 weeks ago and watch Andre's show from 2 weeks ago,
I think I was too.
I had the Buck Club in Greenbrier, and so now we know the Greenbrier's in and Paragon was not. And again, that's not to say that Paragon wasn't a good course, but now we know the Buck Club's not going forward, and that may be a little bit of a surprise to folks. Another masterclass in sculpting as far as the Buck Club goes, but it was out there. I mean, it's pretty different. And this one here from Joe, just again, clean all the way through. And so it's nice to see that that the template geometry that the judges didn't have anything bias against that. Because again, I threw myself under the bus saying that that style just doesn't fit with me. But the judges did a great job of just saying, hey, let's look at all these courses. And the Greenbrier took the runner-up spot, and now he has to go up against Arctic Fury, which probably could not be more different, that matchup there. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we are going on to Group G, as we are almost finished here. Group G had to be decided by tiebreaker as well. It finished with a 1-1 record. So it is between Pablo Roy TGC and D Dix Jr. Who is coming out of Group G? I didn't spoil this one, did I? No, I definitely didn't.
I hope not.
I'm making very sure I'm pressing the right buttons. All right, I've definitely got this one ready to go.
Hey Andre, don't push the button that shows who the winner of the whole thing is.
Oh right, sorry. I forgot about that. Just says me. All right.
Spoiler.
Coming out of Group G. Blame Pablo with his Rosarito Bay Golf Club. Well done, Pablo.
Yeah, I can't really argue. Although maybe the Av of Giants Black was kind of my thought there too. But again, it's one of those groupings where if you throw Rosarito in there, I'm fine. If you throw Giants Black in there, I'm fine. I thought Falcons, was the definite winner of that group, and then you, as far as your runner-up, you could kind of pull a couple of names, and it would seem like the right name. So Rosarito going forward is there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got one more spot left. 15 spots have been filled. Who's going to get this final spot? We're into Group H. So not Energizer. Old Henry's Shipyard finished 3-0. The second place course finished with a record of 2-1. So we've got either Mayday, Cull Allen, or Driver T. Who is coming out of the final group? Group H. We're hearing Jeremy.
Everybody seems to think Mayo. And I hate mayo on my sandwich, but
I love mayo on my sandwich.
No white substances. It's the blinking water in the creek could have been a problem. I don't know. Maybe that was HB. Maybe they screwed him. I don't know.
Could be. Nope, they didn't. He got through. Hoback Range Sports Club makes it through and secures the final spot in the World Cup of Design.
Yeah, this is here's a guy that I think is just top notch. Probably, tough group, but I just don't think this competition would have been complete if Hoback didn't make it to the knockouts, in my personal opinion. It had one of those wow moments for me when I pulled up the course and I saw that creek running through, and just the setting that the course was in, and then the playability and everything else that it had going for it. One of my favorites in the competition, and if it wasn't in the knockouts, I probably would have been pretty sad.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? So let's take a look at the last four that we came last four matchups here. So first one being Battle of the Opposites, Arctic Fury versus Joe Golfer G. So you're going with like pure fantasy versus template old school design. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. I have no idea how that's even going to be judged. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think there, Eric?
Same. I think that's going to be so predicated on the rubric being, giving more value to the subjective measures. And I want to, publicly thank all of the past judges and people who helped us create that metric. I think we're getting to a point in these where the results are, they're not just dollars and cents. They're not just, splines and shapes. They're not just, you understand what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
really, how do you experience the course when you're playing it? I think
Yeah.
we've gotten to that point. And so with that being said, I think that's going to play a big part in this matchup. How do you experience the Arctic Fury course, or how do you experience the Joe Golfer G course? And I think that's going to have a lot to do with who wins that match.
Mm-hmm. We'll go through all 8 of them. We didn't really talk about the top 4, but we'll go through them again too. So should we make predictions? Everyone got mad at us last time when we made predictions. Maybe we shouldn't.
I think a lot of people got mad at the predictions because they were made when you and I, admittedly, both had not played all of the courses.
I still have not played all the courses, so whatever.
Well, the people can be mad at you then. Still,
okay, perfect.
All of the courses. Well, let's put it this way: there was a couple I hadn't played. All of the courses that are in here right now, I've played them all.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you can give more of a prediction there. Okay, so let's look at Sam versus Scampy. So that's Paragon versus Tempest Strand. I can't comment because I haven't played either of those courses. So I have no idea.
Are you asking me for my predictions? I mean, we didn't start at the top.
No, we should. Okay, let's. Yeah, we've kind of gone all. Let's.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you were asking me to put my neck out there or.
All right, here let's do this. Let's start at the top, and then we'll go through each matchup and we'll pick our winner. Let's do that. So let's start on the left side of the bracket. Okay, so start with Reeb Duke versus Dale, co-ruler 2.
Is Reeb still in the stream? I gotta check if he's lurking.
Who cares?
I'm just kidding. Oh, of course, Han. A huge audience for this. We were up to like 70 earlier. I don't know where the other 10 went. Maybe they got mad when they didn't win. I don't know.
Well, I spoiled one group, so that probably makes people leave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, like I said, I think this is a fantastic matchup of sculptors, people who can really sculpt their way through a golf course. I've played Co-Ruler's course now a few times. Actually I've played Connemara more than I've played Bandit Ridge. It's a fantastic golf course, playability wise. I think there's going to be things, to me, I think there's going to be things that set Reeb Duke's course over the top on this match.
I would say the same. I really like Co-Ruler's course, but I think Reeb Duke pushes through and wins that matchup. How about Matt F versus Daxon? I mean, we've got a wily veteran versus a fresh-faced rookie. An intriguing matchup.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have nothing bad to say about Daxon's course. I think this might be where it ends for this contest for him, but I mean, nothing to be upset about there. Getting to the top 16, I just think Aristida, once again, if you put him head to head and you look at everything, then I think Aristida is going to win that one.
I would have to agree. And
of course, I have damn bias. Of course, I do.
And yeah, if Matt F and Reeb go through, that will set up a very intriguing quarterfinal matchup versus Reeb Duke and Matt F. 2 courses that I think are probably pretty high up there, and one of them is going to be eliminated in the quarterfinal. So that should be fun. if those two make it. I mean, we don't know. Okay, Arctic Fury, Joe Golfer. Like I said, this was big battle of the opposites here. What do you think?
Bye, Taylor. Great job, bud. Thanks for jumping on, and thanks for being in a tough group and handling it like a true professional. For me, this one's going to go to Fury, and that's just me being like exactly what I said earlier. It's going to be how you experience a course. Yes, I realize Arctic Fury has a certain style, but guess what? Joe Golfer G has a certain style as well, and they both don't really waver from that. And for me, the more enjoyable experience would be on Ocean Perpetual.
Yeah, I would agree, but we were both wrong with Joe's course in the first stage. Right. So who knows? We may be again, but I'm still going to go with Arctic Fury on that one as well. And then our last one on the left side is Energizer versus Mayday. So a desert versus a boreal, both very nicely polished, both veterans. Yeah, what do you think?
This one's really tough. I've been looking at this one even when we're talking about the first three. I don't know. I mean, could you just flip a coin on this one?
I was literally just doing that, and mine landed on Energizer. So I predict Energizer gets through. But that was a coin flip.
You go Energizer, I'll go Mayday, and see what happens.
All right, we'll split it. Okay, we'll go to the right side. We've got Rhino for Life versus Brian Petty. What do you got there?
Another tough one. I'm going to stick with Rhino for Life on this one because if I'm not mistaken, I talked pretty highly about that course in the show 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to stick with my gut that I think it's just a really, really solid golf course. I think there's a few times, although the environment on Kamari just blows me away, and the plot planning and the overall kind of experience of it is phenomenal. There's a couple of times on the course that it has something a little off to me. Like one of the par threes, the green is tiny, like just in comparison to all the rest of the holes, it's really small. Whereas Rhino kind of did something again different than his other tracks, and he pulled it off great. And so I'll stick with my gut and go Rhino on that one.
All right. Well, I haven't played Rhino's course yet, and I love Brian's, so I don't know if I can make an accurate prediction here. So I'm going to abstain. Boring, but his course finished first, and I haven't played it, so I can't make an accurate prediction there. Okay, Cyborg and Pithy Dr. G. Who do you got?
This one I probably should abstain from because they're both Dirty Ankle Mafia members.
Oh.
However, I'm not going to abstain from it because I, again, like I said, was really nervous that Pithy Dr. G's would not make it through the group stage. And the reason I felt that way is because I do feel like it's one of the top courses of all 32. And so as high as I am on the Kilbourne Club's routing and hole design, I just think there's things on Shelter Island that blew me away. So I've got to stick with Pithy on that one.
I would agree. I have played both of these now, and I would give a very slight edge to Dan. All right. Sam versus Scampy. Paragon versus Tempest Strand. That's going to be an intriguing one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Scampy. Again, good portfolio of courses from Sam. Never a bad one. Never a bad one. I just think what Seth did to kind of raise his game to this contest really proved that he's fighting hard, and everyone's fighting hard, right? But he just kind of went out a little bit, and he really pulled it off. So I'm gonna stick my neck out there and go with Scampy.
All right. I haven't played either. I flipped a coin and it landed on Scampy. So Scampy, that's my vote for you. I really got to play these courses. Jeez. Okay. And then the last one, we've got Old Henry Shipyard against Rosarito Bay.
love Pablo to death. Great guy. Becoming a good friend. We text back and forth privately, but for me, again, got to go with my gut, and I just don't think there's a blade of grass out of place on Old Henry's Shipyard. So I'm gonna give this one to Violin Guy.
Mm-hmm. I think that one could go far. Old Henry Shipyard. I really like that one. I did get a quick play of that one as well. So, yeah, I look forward to playing the rest of these courses that I haven't. But some very intriguing matchups, and as we work our way through and eventually crown a champion, which is going to be pretty quick. It's not. This isn't going to be long and drawn out, right? We have a timeline for this.
Correct. Yes. So I wanted to answer that question. It is in the OP of the World Cup thread when the results are, but the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, uh, they will be now judged today through Saturday, February 23rd. So in theory, if Andre is available, we will do another results show on Sunday, the 24th.
Yeah, that should work.
And then the semifinals and finals will be judged from February 24th through February 28th. And the winner will be announced on Friday, March 1st. Again, assuming that Andre is available.
Yeah, maybe we can play both courses or something and pick a winner.
So yeah, so we're not going to string this along. Jeremy and Pithy Doctor are running the major contest, and the whole idea behind the official TGC Tours contest schedule is to really get these to the point where one is closing down and then the hype moves right to the other one. Mm-hmm. So the results of this contest will be done in February by March 1st at the latest. And then, we want that hype to be moving over to the major at that point.
Right. All right, so that does it for us. Thank you guys so much. We had an awesome audience. I'm going to stick around and do a little streaming. I'm just going to turn off the stream and turn it back on in a few minutes. But cool. Eric, thanks for joining me. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. And we got 16 awesome courses. But again, congrats to everyone who's been in this competition and put in a course. And we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our job is honestly really easy. The designers' jobs were the ones that were really hard. And then, of course, the judges after that. So just really thankful for 32 awesome golf courses, and then a lot of judges looking at all of these with a fine-tooth comb and making some very tough decisions. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week with more results. And yeah, this was a lot of fun, and we appreciate the chat being so active.
Yep, awesome. Okay, guys, see you later.
Yep, good night.